what kind of things you're doing now. I know you traveled all over the country. You're involved in, you do the wheelchair ballroom dancing. From what I understand, you've done lifting competitions and that kind of thing, and it's taken you all over the world, has it not?
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing, and it's just really, it's not about setting certain type of goals. It's really, I just got involved in a bunch of things, and my mind wanders 24/7, and I just keep thinking of the next best thing, and before thinking of it, I just jump in to just do it. I don't make New Year's resolutions for myself because that don't last. So I just always get involved, and I think it was like, what do I need to do to make this work? So that's how I got into the powerlifting, eventually about wheelchair bodybuilding. I just Googled it and eventually found something on the internet after searching for hours. It was March of 2006. I found the competition in the fall of 2005, and I was like, hey, I'll just compete. So I Googled more information, how to train specifically for bodybuilding and diets, and I taught myself, and I flew down to Florida, and I competed. I lost, but but then from that moment, I was amazed with the sport, and then I was like, I told the guys, I was like, we need to let the world know about this, and we need to do this and that, and some of the guys laughed at me, because it's like, who's this guy that just, out of the blue?
When you say the guys, who are you talking about?
About the other wheelchair bodybuilders.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, so I was like, okay, whatever. So I went home. I didn't know how to build a website or do nothing about that. So I Googled it. I taught myself how to build a website. I built it within a few weeks.
So you created an entire website on this then. Wow, that's awesome.
I didn't go to school for nothing, and I Googled how to do it, and I did it within a few weeks, and eventually I wanted to lead the sport by example, so I just competed guest bows as much as I could, and I documented it, and I did videos and put it on the internet, and I Googled how to edit videos, and I did that too, so it looks better on there, and put websites and stuff like that, so I can draw traffic to the website to give the sport more exposure, to really connect a social network, to really take this thing to the next level, and eventually people found out about it all over the world, and if you type in Google wheelchair bodybuilding, like most of the stuff comes up on my website.
How many hits have you had on there, do you?
Oh, there's about 3-4 million hits.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. And I know you've been involved in the wheelchair ballroom dancing. Tell us a little bit about that. I guess you were in, Hanover, Germany here back in November?
Yeah. Basically, like, as people hear my story and they wonder how to do this stuff, it's really just getting involved, because one thing unfolds to the next, like the powerlifting, and then eventually turn into bodybuilding in the book, and then eventually after doing the bodybuilding, how I got into ballroom dancing is I flew to the Olympia Expo in October of 2008, and then eventually a company saw me and then was amazed, and we touched base because I networked with so many companies. One company's particular, bodybuilding.com, they were amazed, and eventually I got signed with them, and then they started flying me to expos to represent the company, and eventually the second expo I worked, which was the 2009 Arnold Classic Expo, at the very end a woman came up to me and interviewed me, and that was Aubrey Marchand, and she was hosting for entertainment company. But I gave her my business card, and 1 week later she emailed me and she told me who she was, and that she was an expert in wheelchair ballroom dancing, and she sent me a link to this video on YouTube about her dancing with this guy in a wheelchair on like the Dancing with Stars national tour. I was like, wow. So I emailed her back, and I sent her a link to my bodybuilding stuff. I'm like, this is who I am, and this is what I do. And as if you can actually come up with something, I'd love to try it. So May 2009, she lives in Philadelphia. I live here in Kansas. So I fly once a month to Philadelphia to take ballroom lessons.
Wow.
And I've never danced before in my life. And when people go on my website, the Samba video, I flew on a Thursday, never danced before in my life, and learned the routine, and we filmed on Sunday night, and that was the first time ever. And the choreographer and Aubrey, and they all said I just have a natural talent for ballroom dancing, and here I am. Her and I are the #1 couple in America, and we just got done representing the USA for the first time in history. at a world championship.
And that was back in November.
Yeah, that was
Hanover,
back in November.
Germany.
Yep.
Wow. So what do you got coming up next as far as the ballroom dancing is concerned? Anything on the horizon there?
The ballroom dance, and the next performance that's set up is the 2011 Ronnie Coleman Classic. The promoter contacted me. I'll be guest posing at that, but we'll also be dancing.
Okay.
And if people don't know who Ronnie Coleman, and he's the 8-time Mr. Olympia. Arnold Schwarzenegger won it 7 times. Ronnie won it 8. So this is like truly an honor to go perform.
That's coming up when now?
It's in April.
In April of this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the ballroom dancing, but I got other like appearances for my speaking. And
Absolutely. You do
bodybuilding.
motivational speaking too.
Mhm.
That keeps you pretty busy too, from what I've heard. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about just inspiring and motivating people, and even teach them techniques and stuff like that to show them that they can achieve their dreams.
Mentioning Arnold, you mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know you've danced before him. You've had the chance to meet him on several occasions too, from what I understand.
Yeah, from working the booth for bodybuilding.com, Arnold stops by the booth because bodybuilding.com is like the #1 booth that people go to at these expos, and Arnold stays so much time at the booth, and then he's gone. But trying to get to Arnold's like impossible because he got like a squad of security around him, and there's no way you can just go into his circle.
Sure.
Arnold comes to you. So eventually he goes in the booth and stuff when we take pictures. But the first time I met him, I wasn't in the booth because so many people were like around the booth, and he went to the front to take the picture, and I talked to the security to tell him who I was, and they let me in the circle. So the first picture I ever got with him was an awesome shot that I have on my website and stuff.
Do you get a chance to actually talk with him and spend a little time with him, or not so much? just a quick picture and out?
No, yeah, most time it's a quick picture and stuff, but like when I did talk to him was after I performed for him. But before that, I every time I saw him, I'm like, hey, I'm Nick Scott, I'm with bodybuilding.com, and then the next response he says, I know. that's it.
So Arnold, huh?
Yeah, and then he goes in for the shot, and then he's gone because he's so busy and he's on a time schedule.
Oh, sure.
But like when Arbor and I performed for Arnold, he was so amazed that in the video you can see him like super excited.
Yeah,
and he goes into the.
Tiffany showed me that on YouTube or something like that. He really responded positively.
Yeah,
to
and
it.
he was
awesome.
like, I've never seen like wheelchair dancing.
That's awesome. Well, what else is coming up next for you in the not too distant future? I think you'd mentioned before we went on the air that you've got a speaking engagement coming up. Is that right?
Yeah, on the 22nd, I'll be I got an appearance for like Christina's His and Her Fitness up in Kansas City. But then the 26th, I'll be speaking for a high school. It's about 2 hours away, and then they fly bodybuilding.com fly me out to the LA Fitness Expo on the 28th, and that's going to run from the 29th and 30th, and then I fly back. But that's the kind of
That's the life you lead.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you for being in with us this morning. We really appreciate it. Good luck to you in the future. We hope it's a great year for you in 2011. I talked about what's coming up next. What's coming up next as far as the ballroom dancing thing is concerned? You got any big goals or aspirations or achievements you're trying to accomplish with respect to that in this upcoming year?
Yeah. Oh, there's so much up the trying to get going and stuff, but it's things just like getting involved, even like with this Body by Design book. The book's like rank top 100 on Amazon.com, and people can get the book there as well as on bodybuilding.com. But I've started a non-profit organization, and I converted from like wheelchair bodybuilding to Wheelchair Athletics Incorporated, so that way I can help disabled athletes. And eventually my goal is to open up non-profit gyms. That way the funds will go toward the cause, and eventually just try to get people to support it. So it's like trying to find the time between the dancing, the bodybuilding, the speaking, the flying, and doing fundraisers to try to make it all work. But I always find a way to do it because it's really about just doing it. There's no excuses.
Well, when it comes to just doing it, I don't think there's any more of an expert than yourself. So keep up the good work, my friend. And again, thank you for coming in, and come back and see us sometime and keep us updated on what's going on.
Oh, definitely appreciate it.
Nick Scott with us here on 1220.